Our next basic movement utilises this chopping inwards concept this way. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do it front hand, back hand, front hand. And important to note in this is that we're now beginning to bring in and use our rooting. So the feet need to 1, 1. And when we say rooting in this sense, what we mean is a really straightforward concept that there's a line that goes from the contact point down to the floor, or whatever it is that you root, usually the floor. It can be a wall or something like that, because it's about leverage. That when you would hit something, for example, hitting someone's arm, that there's a point that goes down straight to the floor, and it's leveraged from that point. Of course, it's leveraged to both feet in, one way. There's a line that goes to the other foot as well. But this is the one that just adds a little bit of zing to it. And the posture is like chopping in this way. So. Front foot turns up, 1, this hand turns out, so the back foot turns up, so that the point of leverage goes through the body and down into the, and these are what we call intentional arcs, and I'll talk about that in another video. It's a more advanced concept, but the idea that there's a sense of feeling this arc here and this arc here going between. I'll talk about that another time. 1, 2, 3. I'm just kind of chopping in and down a little bit. And it's exactly what you do when you're sparring, and you just hit like this, and you just hit someone's hand, hit someone's guard. Again. We do it in 3s rather than 1, just continuous. So when we do it with step, there's some different variations that you can use, and it depends how strict or how improvisational you want to be. So the strict version is to always start with the front hand. So 1, 2, and then step, 3, and then reset. 1, 2. So when we step, we're hitting him with the back hand. I'll do that again. And by utilising these steps and lifting the feet, we're beginning to learn more about how to root the posture, and to get the feeling of these intentional arcs that link back to the floor. One, I'm just going to move, and if you're in the way when I move, 1, round the dog, 3. 1, 2, 3, and reset. 1, 2, 3. But if we want to be a little bit more intuitive, or do some slightly different variations, we can start with the other hand and mix it up as we move. We don't have to be fixed in this It's the movement quality that matters, and being able to intuitively do it any which way. It's why people who, like it doesn't matter how many times people like Wang Changjai and Yao Zhongzhun and whoever says don't get caught up in fixed methods. Somehow, for some reason, people just love to get caught up in fixed methods and no, it's always done like this, you must do it like this, and then just creating robotic clones of the same movement. Zhao Daoxin says, like, what you want is mavericks and innovators and people who really fly with it and just understand that the set movements are just there as a basis to allow you to develop intuitive freedom, intuitive movement freedom. Not saying basics aren't important, but it depends on the person how soon you can liberate yourself from that scaffolding that's just there to help build the finished work of art. Anyway, 1, 2, 3. And so from here, I'm going to do it again from this hand that's out, which is technically the back hand. Now my front hand is out. So I could go from the back or I could go from the front, it's up to me. It's up to me to choose. Next I'm going to add in a more complex step, a leg lift, rather than stepping. It's going to be very simply 1, 2, and then when the back hand comes in, see the phase, it's flowing, and then lift. I'm just going to flow into this with the foot point. So we can do it foot pointing down or foot pointing up. And I'm going to do something else as well, a little bit different. I'm going to step back, I'm going to use a different kind of step. I'm going to use a step from Chen Tai Chi, and where you hit with the heel, and then step. This kind of step, which people have a lot of problem with as soon as you start doing it in Chen Tai Chi training. Like you get a cramp, an unbelievable cramp, and you might get it if you're trying this exercise until that muscle strengthens. So that's morphing into a little bit of a Tai Chi sort of movement, and you've got to remember that these things exist on a continuum. Wushu is one art, and so people say things like Yiquan sticks totally different to Shaolin stuff, and no, it's not. It's on a continuum. It's like there's a certain point where Yiquan gun staff starts becoming very much like Shaolin stuff. You see it start happening step by step, it becomes more and more like that, and then there's a point where Shaolin stuff starts becoming simpler, and all the same principles are there, but it's on a continuum. Wushu is one art, and you start finding these interconnections between each one and other aspects of Wushu if you train Wushu. It's not a bad thing, and you can learn a lot by just flowing with that. And, someone, I can't remember who, someone somewhere says that each one kind of cracks open the secrets of the other styles of Wushu, and he says, that's why that's like that. It's very, very much true in my experience, so do it the other way.